Once upon a time, a vast kingdom called Ogbono was challenged to a wrestling bout by a very strong wrestler called Eba. Eba has never been defeated, and so to avert shame, the king summoned all his wrestlers and asked, "Who will fight Eba for us in this epic battle?" The first to come out that day was Igbidu, also known as Okra. "I will defeat Eba," he said. Alright, Pele also presented himself for the wrestling. Ekpo the oil, whose tactics is to melt around the enemy, also presented himself. Alibesa the onion also came up and said, "Oh king, I can make this wrestler cry." The crayfish and the pepper, who has a gang called the Pepper Dem Gang, presented themselves for the challenge. The salt, who knows how to pinch, and even the seasoning came to show their strength to the king. They bitterly vowed that he can make the life of Eba very bitter. Even Ella the meat came with all his brothers to defeat Eba for the kingdom. Eja the fish came from under the sea where he lives, all for the glory of the kingdom. Finally, the magician called Okra, known for fouling the air and making the environment uncomfortable for the enemy, also came to present himself. But only the best wrestler will face Eba, and so the wrestlers must challenge themselves at the arena of fire. Who will carry the day? The first to jump into the arena was Ekpo the oil, who shouted, "Who can challenge me?" Alibesa the onion took up the challenge and went for the oil, and everybody began to scream. There was no winner in sight, and Pele, aka Ogbono, couldn't wait any longer, and he too jumped into the fray. The three fighters tumbled and tumbled around with no winner emerging, and so Ella the meat decided to join in the fight. Well, the more the merrier, they said. He and all his brothers tumbled into the arena to defeat and claim the glory. They fought and fought and fought, but no winner emerged. Akpoko the pepper and his Pepper Dem Gang also jumped into the arena. Their tactics was to pepper out all the other fighters so that they can claim the glory. But these fighters refused to be moved. It began to rain heavily and all the fighters were wet. Still, no one gave in. It was at this point Igbidu, also known as Okra, said to himself, "What am I waiting for? Igbidu doko madabi poho," and he too jumped into the arena. The arena was becoming very congested, but none of the fighters wanted to give in. They continued to tumble around and around. Still, there was no winner in sight. Ilo the bitter leaf also threw itself into the arena, but not even its bitterness could separate the fighters. Then the salt joined in, the crayfish jumped in, even his cousin the fish, and Mr. Seasoning, who thinks himself wise, also joined in the fight. But there was no winner in sight. It was at this point the magician Okra jumped into the arena, and the people began to shout, "Okra yalu, emudu tobobo yarinyo. Okra yalu, emudu tobobo yarinyo." This song turned Okra's smell into a sweet smelling savor. And then the king said, "Instead of trying to outdo each other, why don't you fight as one? Because individually, you stand no chance against the powerful Eba. But together, no one will be powerful enough to stop you." And they all agreed. And so for the first time in history, the wrestlers began to appreciate each other's strength. They realized that by coming together, they have become what none of them can ever be individually. They have become stronger and better, one beautiful force to behold. Meanwhile, in the other kingdom, Eba was preparing himself for the battle. His tactics was to turn into this strong, solid beast, strong enough for no one to lift or carry. He conjured all his powers and said to himself, "I am Eba. I am strong. No one can lift me. No one can carry me. No one can defeat me." But what he didn't know is that unity can move even the greatest mountain. Unity can defeat the greatest foe. Well, he learned that lesson that day at the biggest arena, where the warriors of Ogbono, now fighting as one, lifted him effortlessly and threw him down the hole. And so the story goes. Now everyone knows that the kingdom divided against itself will never stand. but a people who fight as one will always become a great kingdom. This is my soup story.